We're going to take a little break from the rest of this chapter because we'll finish this chapter after break and we'll test after break. But let's go on a real life adventure. This is a reality I think that each and every one of you could do. Okay? Now, I realize some of you come from more affluent homes than others. I get it. But one of the greatest prides that I've done since I turned 38, is I became debt-free. I own everything I own. The only thing I owe are taxes. So that's number one. If you can figure out how to get financially independent, your life is real easy. You're never stressed about the sillies. Okay? So, I want you to think about this. When you turn 20 years old, not too far off, agreed? But time to think about how you would make this work. Okay? I want you from age 20 to age 30. So this is after high school, possibly during college, if you're going to college, or if you're not going to college. I want you to think about saving $200 per month. Okay? $200 a month for 10 years. You're talking about 120 months. Still following my math? Does that make sense so far? So I'm going to go into an app on the calculator. These apps are available online. I'm sure you can find this app at the App Store. But $200 a month, it's not a great deal of money. Agreed? I mean, I see plenty of you having a $7 Starbucks every day. If you switch that from $7 Starbucks every day to a $2 McDonald's, getting the same exact syrupy drink, it might benefit you. Okay? Now, I'm going to throw this at you. So, we're talking about 10 years, a decade of your life. Okay, so in the calculator, under the apps, there's something called finance. Under finance, there's something called the TBM solver. Okay, so I said 120 months, right? The stock market index funds, and I'm talking about mutual funds, okay? Mutual funds are a safe way to save money. I understand you always have the one person saying, oh, you should have invested. Oh, you should have invested. I get that. There's an awful lot of those people out there. Index funds, large cap mutual funds, I'm talking major corporations, Johnson & Johnson, Amazon, Tesla, okay? Companies like that. They enjoy borrowing money from mutual funds because it's cheaper for them to borrow money against mutual funds than it is for them to borrow money from a bank. But you become an owner of the mutual fund. Okay? Large index mutual funds over the past 60 years have averaged 9.2% interest. Okay? Following me so far? So, we're going to say, hey, we're going to start this with zero. And we're going to do $200 that we're going to pay each month. Each month, 12 months in a year, for 10 years. So now we are age 30. So I'm going to go alpha enter. So for 120 months, I did $200. So someone go 200 times 120 and tell me what you get. 24,000. So far, is that right? 24,000. So right now you have invested by the time you're 30, 24,000 for your money to be worth $39,143.51. Still following me? So now I'm going to move that up here. 39,143.51. Okay. Now we're at age 30. So we're probably in a job that's paying a little bit more money than we made in our 20s. Agree? So now I'm going to improve my mutual fund to $400 a month for another 10 years. Okay? So now, when I'm age 30, before I make my next payment, now of $400, from $200 to $400, I have a previous value from 30 to 40 of 39,000. Now I'm going to start investing $400 for another 120 months until I'm 40. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. I want to see my future value. So friends, we went, so what was our original 24,000? Go plus 120 times 400 on your calculator as well. So 24,000 plus 120 times 400. How much? 72 grand. So now we're into this mutual fund for $72,000 by the time we are age 40. Our $72,000 is $176,165 of what it's worth. It's compounding interest. So now you're going to go from age 40 to age 50. Life is going pretty good. I'm going to increase this to $500 a month. I'm going to change my previous value from $39,000 to $176,165. And yeah, 42 cents, but let's just not do that. Okay. So until we are age 50 for 10 years, we're going to invest $500 a month. So now you have that value still on your calculator. So let's do this real quick. So 120 times 200 plus 120 times 400 plus 120 times 500. $132,000. Okay, so now you're $132,000 into this, and you have $538,359. Okay, so your money's making you money. Agree? So from 50 to 60, you're going to increase this to $600 a month. So we're going to change our previous value to $538,359. Friends, you're 60 years old. You have $1,463,597. Did you add how much? So you invested $204,000 to wind up with 1.4, almost $1.5 million. You follow my gist? So now you're 60 years old. You've been investing for 40 years. Watch this, ready? Oops. So now we are retired. 3597. You're right. Yep. Okay. So from 60 to 90 is 30 times 12. So that's 360 payments. So now you're going to receive 360 payments of the money that you invested, including all the interest. It's still sitting in this index fund. We want our future value to go down to 0. So now we're going to figure out what our money is going to pay us back every month for the rest of our life. Ready? we're going to get $11,987.66 a month from age 60 to age 90. Okay? We do this. You have the 240,000, right? Hang on, I'm going to write that down. Is that 204,000? So in 40 years, we invested $204,000, okay, to get us 1463. 1463, 597. Okay, this is, so let's face it, you're getting over 7 times your money returned back to you. Okay? All right. So we said that now we're going to get 11987. 11987 per month for 30 years. Will you go 11987 times 30? Oh, wait, I take it back. 11987 times 12 times 30. Keep it in this mutual. 320. So friends, you invested from age 20 to age 60. Your first 10 years, you did $200 per month. From 30 to 40, we did $400 a month, right? From 40 to 50, we did $500 a month. And from 50 to 60, we did $600 a month. Okay? You did that. You invested over 40 years, $204,000, roughly. To, by the time you hit age 60, to have a net worth of this. Now you chose not to have anything go into it. Now you're living off your money. And you're going to get almost $12,000 a month for 30 years. And when your $204,000 payment went in, and you get your money back to zero, your $204,000 investment returned $4,315,320. That's real. Think about that. Think about this. This, you're talking about $140,000 a year. Okay? That's a very, very simple way to be a millionaire. Now, again, I realize some of you come from different affluencies. I get it. But this takes the average person and turns them into a millionaire. Okay? And hard to do? No. What you want to find is this. Now everything's done electronically. Agreed? So you want to get something in place when you turn 20 that's going to just automatically each month deduct $200 out of your account to go into this mutual fund. You got a Starbucks there, Sunshine?
Yeah, that's actually for you.
Huh?
I got you one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
It's a caramel mocha.
Oh, giddy up. Appreciate you. So, So Geo says it's hard to get to 200 a month. 20 to 30. What's minimum wage right now?
$12.
It's like $12.30 now. Yeah.
So-
You have to think about the cost of life right here.
I understand. $12 per hour. Agreed. So what's 12 times 40? $480 per week. So that's 4 weeks roughly each month. That's how much you're bringing in per month. Minus the $200 that you're investing. Yes, I understand there's taxes. I'm going to show you how to get around that too. Okay? Oh, Geo, that's good.
Yeah. It's called a caramelizer.
It's called heaven, in my opinion. Heaven in a cup. All right. So, I realize that college job might be right around that. So let's say you choose to be the Chris Stirrup when you graduate college at 24 years old. Now, I got friends that got done with college and they were 22 years old when they got done with college. I worked full-time in college. And I went to school part-time. Okay? When I was 18 years old, my grandfather was an auditor for the IRS. He was not a well-liked person. He was not the person that you wanted to have come visit your company, because he would be sent by the IRS to do a number of things. One, you might have had a company that you were making a bid on a government project. So the auditor would come in to make sure you could handle what you're trying to charge the federal government, because they didn't want you to go bankrupt on a government contract. But he was also the guy saying, you might be cheating taxes. Okay? So imagine this, friends. You're paying this, and about 30% of this is going to pay some sort of tax, whether it's state or local or federal. 30% of your take is doing this. If you turn this into a retirement, that means you're going to pay tax on this. Okay? So you're paying less in tax. Now, there are certain accounts with retirements, with this process I showed you, that are tax sheltered, meaning you're not going to ever owe tax on the money you make and what you use. The best tax sheltered accounts out there right now are called high deductible medical programs. Now, I'm not going to tell you to go and invest all your money in this, because it's a fool's way, because high deductible medical programs only bring in about 3% interest on the money you have in there. But high deductible are triple protected. You don't pay tax on the money you put in, so it reduces what your taxable income is. You don't pay tax on the interest that is made. And high deductible medical programs, until you are 59 and a half years old, you don't pay tax on anything you spend it on, as long as it's a medical expense. After 59 and a half years old, you can actually spend that money on anything you want. You're triple shielded from taxes on high deductible medical programs. All right, so this is what I did. We're going to call this a mutual fund. And there are lots of mutual funds. We'll call this mutual fund A. And because when I was young, you wanted to go a lot more aggressive, where it could go up a lot, it could go down a lot, go up a lot. But mutual funds that are aggressive typically do this when you grow them. So if you do your linear regression, you have a positive slope. Okay? The sky is falling if you looked at this portion of time. But if you look at from the beginning to the end, where we're talking about 40 years, it's going to do nicely. Now, this is what I did with my first mutual fund, starting at 18 years old. The reason I started this when I was 18 years old is I was working as a salesman at a car wash. Okay? I got commission by selling people the expensive car wash package, which at the time was $15 whole. So every time I sold a car wash for $15, which is nothing compared to what today's car washes are, I got $1 in commission. For every $10 wash, I got 10 cents. For every detail work I sold, I got 10% commission on. So a complete detail, meaning exterior, interior, steam clean the top and bottom of the engine, was $300. I got 10% commission on that, so I got $30. Well, the car wash had mainly high school and college people that were not making that much money. Unfortunately, you got Stirrup, who realized the better I can schmooze, the better clientele, the better I do, the more money I make. Well, the car wash at the time was doing an exempt tax, because if you made less than $2,000 a year, and I'm talking, this is in the 80s, if you made less than $2,000 a year, you were a student, you didn't pay tax. So they just did it exempt. Me, the year I started this, I made $24,000. And this guy didn't pay tax on any of it because car wash marked me as exempt. So here comes Grandpa. Wasn't a smile on his face. He was basically like, "You idiot. Okay. You owe the federal and the state government a lot of money." $850. Oh, thank you. Take a roll now. Okay, so Grandpa says, "You owe a lot of money." And I'm like, and I explained the situation to him, and that I didn't know. I mean, I'm still a senior in high school. And he says, "But I can show you a way that can bring down that tax burden." All right, hang on a sec. Oh my God. Okay, get there. Megan's not here. Ethan's not here. Alia. Nicole. Yesterday. Thank you for the update on that. Attendance is now taken. So my grandfather basically said this to me. He said, "You're going to take part of this 24,000. In fact, we're going to take 5,000 of what you've made, and we are going to invest that 5,000 into this mutual fund." I'm like, "Hey, that sounds great." And he goes, "You will then owe This was the maximum I could put in at the time in the 80s into a mutual fund to be tax sheltered. You now owe the federal government $800 versus originally I was going to owe the federal government about $5,500. So I could have paid this money plus more to the federal government and the state government, and I would have never seen that money again. But my grandpa said, if you put this into this, you only owe this. This is your money. I'm like, well, when can I get to that money? When you're 59 and a half years old. Of course, I'm 18 at the time. And I said, come on. He goes, you can give it to the government and you'll never see it again. Or you can put it away into this retirement fund and you're going to see it when you're 59 and a half is when you can touch it. So it kind of seemed like a scam. But of course, Grandpa is an IRS auditor doing my taxes. Pretty sure the IRS isn't going to say, oh, H.W. Zimmerman, IRS auditor, did taxes for Mr. Chris Stirrup. We should audit Mr. Chris Stirrup. Didn't happen that way. So I was happy about that. Now, I got to sneeze. One more, maybe. Nope. It was just a teaser sneezer. You guys can use that. All right. So the following year, I realized, oh, okay, I'm going to pay my taxes. And I put another $3,000 into this mutual fund. And when I got this mutual fund, when mutual fund A got up to $10,000 in both interest and what I'm investing. So this is the neat thing. I put money in. Mutual fund pays out dividends. Okay? So you can direct the dividends to 3 different locations. You can direct the dividend, which is money, back into itself, so you buy more of that mutual fund. You can tell it you want the dividends to come to you, or you could have the dividends. So this could have went to me, the dividends, which is not what it, the whole 10,000. It's a portion of it. Or I could look at another mutual fund. And that's what I did. I decided I'm going to look at mutual fund B. So this is sitting at $10,000, so 10K. I'm going to direct the money that this mutual fund is making, and it's going to go into here. Me is no longer here. Me is now here. And remember I said mutual funds, I can direct the dividends, the payouts, to go back into itself? How fast do you think it took before mutual fund B got to $10,000?
3 years.
It wasn't as long as mutual fund A. Mutual fund A, I put my money in, the dividends that paid out, the interest basically that it paid out, invested to itself. Now I have mutual fund A's interest paying for mutual fund B. Me paying for mutual fund B, and mutual fund B's interest paying back into itself. So mutual fund B got to $10,000. Guess what I did? I bought mutual fund C. So now I'm going to direct A, B, C back into itself, and me. How fast did mutual fund C get up to $10,000? Real fast. By the time I got to 22 mutual funds,
Over $10,000.
oh, it's better than that. By the time I got to 22 mutual funds, to go from 21 to 22 mutual funds, 6 months. 6 months to get to $10,000. Okay? Then, what I did.
And how much of your own money did you put into that for that 6 months?
Not that much. 1,000.
Really?
Yeah. So after I had these 22 mutual funds that all got up to $10,000, I decided, okay, mutual fund A, I'm going to get to $20,000. Now, 23 different items went to get mutual fund A up. I had 22 mutual funds and me. Okay, this was fast. Then I go to mutual fund B, then mutual fund C, to get all my mutual funds to 20K. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly where I'm at, but right now, I am on my way to getting mutual fund A or B or C or D all the way through X, or let's see, W. That's 22, isn't it? I'm trying to get all of my mutual funds to this. Okay? That's Stirrup's retirement program. I will tell you this, 22 mutual funds that pay out. So when I turn to 59 and a half, 22 mutual funds, I could say, I'm done investing in my mutual funds. So I will have 22 sources of income from my mutual funds. The state of Nevada, when I turn 54, starts paying me about $1,000 a month for the rest of my life because I didn't do a 30-year there.
What is that?
It's my state retirement because I taught in Nevada for 9 years. But I had about almost 14 years of service because I was deemed a hard-to-fill position. So the majority of my years I worked, I earned 1.4 years of service for every year I worked towards retirement. Colorado, when I turn 60, 9 years and 1 month from now, if this is happening today, is going to pay me $7,000 a month for the rest of my life. So right there is $8,000 plus that. Retirement's looking pretty amazing. You know,
for 22 mutual funds would be 1.1 million.
where'd you get the 22 what?
22 mutual funds?
The 22
You
mean
want each one to be at 50K?
what? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be 1.1 million.
Oh, okay, so that's 1.1 mil. Cool. Huh. Retirement's not going to be, should I fly first class or not? Retirement for me is, which day did I want to fly first class on? So,
Capitalism.
if you ever hear this statement, call it bull.
Well, what about the DPS teachers?
Well, so here's the thing. Live within your means. Don't buy what you can't afford. Okay? That's the big thing. Now, the hard thing is, well, how do I go buy a house if I can't go pay cash for a house? You're right. Do I still have a few minutes? Let's go back to our thing. Okay? So typically a mortgage on a house is a 30-year mortgage, which means there's 360 payments you make. Okay? Yes, there are certain taxes and stuff, but for the most part, you're going to borrow a certain amount of money. Right now, you could probably get an interest rate on a house at 4%. Yes, I understand they advertise on the radio, hey, get 1.2%. When you're advertising on the radio, don't look at those investments. It's a lie. It's a sales technique to get you in the front door. Because in order for you to get to the 1.2%, you basically have to have all the money for the house already that sits in an account that you're not going to touch, so you can have this low interest rate. Okay? It's a scam. Let's say we wanted to buy ourselves an $800,000 house. Okay? We want to get to a future value. So right now, if I do this, your $800,000 house is going to cost you roughly $4,000 a month for 30 years. That doesn't include any of the taxes or things on that. If you accelerate this and you go and you decide, you know what, how can I make this work to pay one payment more a year? You pay one payment more a year in 30 years, so you're doing 30 more payments. You can lower your what you owe. Jack, you got your calculator still? Do me a favor. Let's go 3820 times 360 minus 800,000. Okay, so that means that if you paid out this loan at 4%, you're paying $575,000 extra for your $800,000 house. Your $800,000 house really costs you $1.3 million. Okay? Do me a favor, Jack. Go 240 times 2,500. Okay. Sorry, I might have been off a little bit on that one. I was just trying to do some mental math and it wasn't working. Go 240 times. What was your original I told you times that by? Yeah, 240 times what? Go 240 times 2,900. Okay, I'm off on my mental math. I apologize. So if you pay 30 more payments, 30, that's 2 years, 6 months. So it takes your loan from a 30-year down to a 27.5 year. But if you actually aggressively pay that more, you would wind up paying a lot less in your interest. So friends, I showed you this for a couple of reasons. One, we're missing a whole bunch of people in class, so I didn't want to necessarily teach the last section because I don't think people are going to watch over Thanksgiving. But, friends, did this give you a little bit of an impact?
Yeah.
So again, friends, live within your means. Don't overspend. Some of you might already have a credit card, and that might be through your parents' account, but watch out when your credit cards come rolling down, because it's really nice and convenient that a credit card is money up front until You get to the end of the month and you're like, oh no. Your first credit card, my friends, I hate to tell you this, will be anywhere between 19 and 24% interest they charge you per month.
24.
20,
Be careful with it.
24.
I'm interested in that.
24% interest. Rule of 72 is how often your money will double. 24%. If you went and borrowed $10,000 on your credit card, you made the minimum payment on your credit card, and it'll take you 10 years to pay it off. That 10,000 turns into about 39,000 you wound up paying for your $10,000 investment. It is the biggest trap in the world. People get upside down with it. You, each and every one of you, are your own individual. If you have friends that are like, oh, well, you should have this so you can be my friend, that's not a friend you need. Okay? Two of my closest friends, Brian Schimpf. Brian Schimpf's dad is Paul Schimpf. Paul Schimpf is one of the founders of Motorola, small little tech company. When Brian was in college at Arizona State, Brian's parents gave him $5,000 a month walking around money. They paid for his car. They paid for his apartment. So poor Brian lived by himself while in college, right next to Arizona State University, in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment.
What do you mean you have roommates?
What's that?
What does he need 4 bedrooms for?
Because they didn't have a 5-bedroom apartment.
Did they have roommates?
Huh?
Did he have roommates?
Nope.
What the hell? Okay.
So then, poor Brian graduates from college, and he is a trust fund child now. His trust fund is upwards of $20 million. Now, if you talk to Brian, Brian will say, yeah, I do high corporate real estate. He doesn't work. He's got a pretty good short game on golf right now. Brian's day consists of, I get up, I go down to the local diner, Pine Top, Arizona. Pine Top, Arizona is turned into Cherry Hill South in Arizona. And has breakfast, reads the Wall Street Journal. He'll go over and meet with his physical trainer, work out for a couple hours, go have lunch, put in 18 to 36 every day. Yeah. But every now and then, one of Paul Schimpf's associates will contact Brian saying, hey Brian, I'm looking to lease a 1 million square foot facility that has full water rights. Oh, okay, I'll write up a contract. Okay, he'll make about $30,000 off of that, which is peanuts. Then there's Travis and Damon Jacobson, 2 brothers. Travis is my age, Damon was 2 years older. Their father developed the aluminum alloy that is used on the construction of every airplane that is in the sky today. Travis and Damon both live in Spain, and they own a company that other people run.
Thank you.
See ya.